The regular city council meeting of Wednesday, April 8th, 2026. All right, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to start with roll call. Monica?
Council President McDougall,
Here.
Councilor Predin,
I'm here.
Councilor Ross,
Present.
Councilor Pellerin. Here.
Okay, I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. All right, next up, we've got visitor communication. Monica, who do we have tonight?
Jill Neal.
And then come on up to the seat. We like to keep it to about 3 minutes. And just to let you know, we don't have discussion at this time, so don't feel like it has anything to do with you. It's just how we do the process.
First of all, I'm here about short-term rentals, and I am in sympathy with short-term rentals in private neighborhoods, but I purchased a unit after my husband died. I bought a place in Olympia and a place here. I never got, in fact, I went in and this is documented that it was sent to the wrong address, sent to the previous owner, so I never received anything about getting a license. And again, I'm moving north, I'm moving south, so I had no clue where I would have gotten it. Where I am, 9 out of 12 units are currently rented. There's 12 units total. I'm the only one who wants to be able to rent. The other 2, they don't want to. So because of the having that many rentals, I'm paying the same rent, I'm paying the same taxes, I'm listening to toilets flushing all summer, and people coming and going and no parking, and I can't rent my unit. I had, and she's given me permission to give you her name. She said I have a $30,000 drop in the value of my property, and I looked up, there's a thing called vested right theory. It is not legal if the restriction effectively destroys a significant portion of the property value. She came in and said I have a $30,000 loss because I can't rent it. And again, I'm the only one in this unit who can't rent. There's also rental restrictions are generally enforceable, and this is the law, as long as they appear in the county's recorded declaration and apply equally to every owner. So this is not equal. So there's an exclusion for one person. It's a little bit like discrimination because I'm the only one who can't rent, yet I have to put up with everything. And I think I understand the idea of short-term rentals and protecting people, but when you have a unit where everybody is able to rent out but one, that's not right. So I would like this to be considered, especially since there are laws that pertain to this. Do you have any questions for me?
We don't generally have conversations at this time, but I know we did receive your email.
I would just clarify, I did not receive it, nor did Jordan, so we didn't all get it.
I sent it to everybody, but Gary's bounced back.
Okay.
I didn't send it to Gross, but
Okay, so
I would be glad. I have a copy of the one I sent to Sarah. I can leave with you.
Yeah, so what I will do is I will take the one that I have and I'll forward it to our city council email address, which will ensure that everybody gets it. And then if we have follow-up questions, we'll get back with you.
Okay, and
But
I just wanted to
appreciate you coming
reiterate,
tonight.
this is a little different than having short-term rentals in private neighborhoods. This is not a private neighborhood. This is one unit out of 12 that's being told that it's exclusionary, and that is a legal term.
I think the one thing I will say is I think that everybody on city council is interested in this issue and will be taking a look at your situation.
Okay.
I think that's fair to say.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you.
And thanks for coming tonight, Jill. And
Thank you.
Listening to me tell you, come to city council.
it. I've missed a lot of them. They're always interesting. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, on Zoom, we have Jeremy Austin.
Great, thank you. Am I coming through?
Jeremy, can you speak up?
Is it, how about this? Can you hear me now?
It's a little vague.
It's quiet.
Yes, quiet.
I could sign back in really quickly on a computer if that would be preferred.
It's pretty good.
You've made some kind of change that improved the situation. Thank you.
Okay, great. My name's Jeremy Austin. I'm the Wildlands and Water Program Director at Central Oregon Land Watch. But here tonight, I'm representing the Bend to Subtle Lake Wildlife Passage Initiative. We're a coalition of about 20 partner organizations who've come together around the shared goals of improving motorist and wildlife safety along Highway 20 between Bend and Subtle Lake. And I'm here tonight to request a letter of support for a federal grant that the coalition is seeking. The council may recall that in early part of 2025, I presented to the council on the Bend to Subtle Lake Wildlife Passage Initiative, gave a project update, and an update on the 4 proposed crossing structures that we are hoping to build just west of Sisters. In April of 2025, we were successful in securing the non-federal match required to apply for federal funding to complete engineering and design. And we want to say once again that we are so thankful to the City Council for providing a letter of support for the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board grant, which we were successful in and was a really important part of securing our non-federal match. In this spring, the Oregon Department of Transportation will be applying on behalf of the coalition for federal funding through the Federal Highway Administration's Wildlife Crossing Pilot Program. That funding, if we are successful with the grant, will allow us to complete engineering and design for 4 proposed wildlife crossings on Highway 20 near Black Butte. And as part of that application process, we are reaching out to community partners to see if they'd be willing to provide a letter of support for the grant. I did email this information to City Council in late March, and that email included both an overview of the project with more detail and also a template letter that the council may consider if they choose to provide a letter of support. I recognize you may not be able to ask questions at this point in time, but I'd be happy to stay on the line tonight if there's additional questions that would help the council consider this request. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeremy. I think I'll put it on my notes to bring back up during Councilor Business tonight.
Great, thank you so much.
Sure. Monica, anything else?
If anyone else on Zoom would like to participate in visitor communication, please raise your hand now. There are none.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, next we're going to move on to presentations. Tonight we have 2 proclamations that'll be shared with us by councilors to my left. So we'll start with the Dark Sky Proclamation with Councilor Ross.
Whereas International Dark Sky Week is observed in April on the week of the new moon, and whereas the experience of standing beneath a starry night sky inspires feelings of wonder and awe and encourages stewardship of our shared environment and magnificent dark skies. And whereas dark skies are an integral aspect of sustainability of Oregon's wild ecosystems as a key environmental factor in bird migration, insect pollination, and human sleep patterns. And whereas, Oregon's dark skies are a significant natural resource with 7 accredited international dark sky places to date: Sun River, Prineville Reservoir State Park, Oregon Caves National Monument, the City of Antelope, the Oregon Outback Sanctuary, Cottonwood Canyon State Park, and the City of Sisters. And whereas Eastern Oregon holds the world's largest dark sky sanctuary and an area of largest pristine night skies in the contiguous 48 states, and whereas astrotourism involving stargazing, astronomy star parties, and dark sky photography is an evolving facet of outdoor recreation with real economic benefits for communities across Oregon, which promotes the mitigation of light pollution. Now, therefore, I, Gary Ross, City Councilor of the City of Sisters, hereby declare April 13th to 20th, 2026 to be International Dark Sky Week in the City of Sisters. I urge all citizens to celebrate International Dark Sky Week by going out at night and appreciating the ability to still see the stars in Sisters, and to committing to responsible outdoor lighting practices.
Great, thank you, Councilor Ross. And I just wanted to make a comment. We don't do a lot of proclamations, but these two that we're doing tonight are pretty specific to our priorities and goals that we've had across the last several years. The Dark Sky Proclamation comes from the fact that, we've put in Dark Sky Code and we're now a Dark Sky certified city. And the next one, the Arbor Day Proclamation, comes from, our longtime respect of trees and, really an effort to balance our development with not losing what we started with. So just wanted to point that out, because we do get requests for other proclamations, and we don't always take them as proclamations just because we try to limit that, but these two are special to us. So I'm going to have Councilor Pellerin read our Arbor Day Proclamation.
Thank you, Councilor President. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, is now observed throughout the nation and the world, as well as in the City of Sisters. And whereas trees are healthy for salmon and steelhead because they reduce the stormwater runoff and lower water temperature when planted near our creeks and rivers. And whereas ponderosa pines and other trees are a critical part of the unique character of Sisters. And whereas the City of Sisters has received Tree City USA status for 19 consecutive years. And whereas in honor of its Tree City USA status, the city will host an Arbor Day tree planting celebration with local Sisters students at Sisters Community Park to inspire the next generation of stewards. Now, therefore, as City Councilor Cheryl Pellerin of the City of Sisters, I hereby declare the 24th day of April 2026 to be Arbor Day in the City of Sisters. I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to protect and plant trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Crowd goes wild. Okay. Great. Thank you,
And for
Councilor
those of you in the
Pellerin.
audience, that celebration will be on April the 24th at noon. Be there.
Where is it this year? Same place?
No, right across
Right across the
at
street. Okay.
SPRD Community Center.
Thank you.
Pickleball afterwards.
All right, sweet. All right, so we have one more presentation tonight, and that is the Republic Services Annual Financial Report. So come on up. Do y'all want to, good at sharing the mic? Okay, great. It looks like it's turned on. And so I'm just going to start off by, I like to make sure we're like setting the goal. So I think what we're looking for tonight is to give you all some recommendations so that you can come back with our yearly contractual update. Is that what we're?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Just want to make sure. So we're not making any final decisions tonight, but we're giving you some guidance.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Okay, we'll
Thank
go
you.
ahead and get started. Can you hear me? We good? Okay. Well, thank you for having us tonight. For the record, my name is Erica Heitzma. I'm the General Manager with Republic Services for our Central Oregon market, which includes service to the City of Sisters. And I am with Dan Strandy, who is our finance manager for the Central Oregon market. So tonight we're going to discuss our financial results, first going over our 2025 actual results, excuse me. And then I would turn it over at that time to Dan, who's going to talk about our 2026 projections, how we arrived at those projections and the methodology, and then ultimately what our rate ask is going to be, and then options for council to consider. So, okay. Our first slide in the presentation is just an overview of the services that we provide to city assisters. We have exclusive right to haul or collect and haul material, which includes trash, recycling material, yard debris for industrial, commercial, and residential customer base. So I'm going to jump into discussing our 2025 results. I'm going to go over our revenue and then discuss the cost categories, what the result was, and our year-over-year change.
Erica or Monica, is it possible to make it full screen? Just the font from here is
I think if you go to the slideshow tab at the top
Sorry, some of the
and then hit the
prompts on-
begin.
yeah, no worries.
Let me know if that's better.
Oh,
Much better.
okay, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, for our 2025 results, first looking at our revenue. For our revenue, we had $1,290,000 in 2025. This represents a $12,000 increase year over year. Revenue growth was as a result of our rate increase carryover from 2024, including our 2025, and we also had a volume growth of approximately 2%. From a cost perspective, our total cost of operations was $1,200,000 in 2025. This represents a $65,000 reduction from a year-over-year perspective. Looking at the specific cost categories within our total costs, disposal fees totaled $342,000. We had an $11,000 reduction from a year-over-year perspective. And disposal costs, or this reduction, was primarily driven by the savings that we saw with RMA. Our direct labor was at a total of $299,000. This represented a $17,000 reduction from a year-over-year perspective. Direct labor costs are associated with wages, benefits, and payroll taxes for our employees responsible for providing collection. Our equipment operating cost was $60,000, with a $600 reduction from a year-over-year perspective. This cost category is primarily driven by our fuel expense. From a truck maintenance perspective, our total cost was $94,000. We had a $3,000 a year increase, and this was $3,000 increase, and this was as a result of our parts and supplies increasing. Our maintenance cost was $7,000, with a $4,000 increase from a year-over-year perspective. This cost category is associated with repairing our steel containers. From an insurance perspective, our total cost was $28,000. We actually saw a $36,000 year-over-year reduction in this spend category due to improved safety and overall claims. Other operating expense was at $13,000, with a $5,000 reduction from a year-over-year perspective. Our depreciation cost was at $75,000. This cost is associated with our trucks and equipment. And this was a 6.6% year-over-year increase due to receiving new trucks in 2025. Our call center costs were at $36,000, with a $3,000 increase from a year-over-year perspective. These costs are for our call center and include variable and fixed costs. Variable costs are associated with our call volume, and fixed costs are associated with technology, infrastructure, IT support, and supervision. Our area and corporate allocation costs were totaled at $96,000. This included a $24,000 reduction in spend from a year-over-year perspective. Costs in this category are represented by our corporate and area level overhead costs that directly support our Central Oregon market. These services include legal services, tax services, information technology, procurement, accounts payable and receivable, billing and collections, market and customer communications, and our accounting and financial department. And then our management and administrative labor costs were $14,000. This includes costs for our Central Oregon management team. And then finally, our franchise fees were at $93,000, and this represented 0.5% increase from a year-over-year perspective. So overall, our franchise operating income totaled $64,000 for 2025, and our contract operating margin was 5%. Any questions?
Well, I appreciate the verbal information. Doesn't work for me. I need to see it written. There's a lot of good information in there. But what I have in front of me, which really closely, well, it matches what you have on the screen, presents an incomplete picture of where the company is financially in regards to the contract here in Sisters. One of the things that you are going to be asking for are rate increases and adjustments. I have no information upon which I can base that decision, which would lead me to a flat no. I asked this last year, and I asked for it the year before. We get this, it's pretty, but then we go down a whole long list of things, which this is an increase, this is a decrease, this is an increase, this is a decrease, this is a minor change, this is a major change, and I don't have the information to make a decision. I don't make monetary decisions on partial information. I only make them on full. So unless you can provide me with the information that you just presented to us in a form that I can go through it, I'm not comfortable with any kind of an adjustment until I see it.
We can certainly provide financial statements, so we can send that.
Basically what you just read is what I need. Yep, it was very informative, but I lost track of you after about the 5th line.
Okay, we can do that.
Has anything changed since the February spreadsheets? Maybe a few minor from a projection as I updated some information, but it's materially the same, yes. Okay. Yeah, if you just want to send an update.
Then you can just forward it to us. That would be real helpful, like I said, because it's published money, so I need to be sure that I'm being smart with it. And also making sure that you can continue to provide service. So it's mutually beneficial for me to have that.
Councilor Pellerin?
No, I mean, I agree with what he said. I mean, I want to see better numbers as well, just something I can read that shows us what you just said, right?
Yeah, and we can certainly provide all of that information. We provided most of that information, all of that information to Mr. Wheeler, so we can send that forward.
And just to confirm, this is our franchise only, Sisters.
Yes, that is correct.
And it looks like, so it sounds like a lot of the costs were down last year, which sounds like a lot of efficiencies, which is always good unless, you're missing people, like hires that you're waiting on, et cetera. And so, but the cost went down, but the total revenue projections, which I assume and would like confirmation of, would include the increases that we'll be talking about.
Correct.
So we're looking at increases that would bring the margin from 5% to 9.4%.
That's correct.
Okay, just want to make sure we're all on the same page going forward. All right.
Just a clarification question, MSW is?
Trash.
What does MSW stand for?
Municipal solid waste.
Okay. 1 H of year, if 1 H is?
1/2, sorry. First half, second half. So 1/2, second half. So first half of the year, second half of the year. So pricing.
Skills are evading me. And the rest I understand, but 2/2 of you, but write the word half.
And that's fair. I apologize.
Yeah, it's just like it. And I understand, especially when you're dealing with internal documents, that you boil them down to someone else. We tend to use the language we're familiar with. We do it all the time. We throw out acronyms for different groups and organizations and things, and half the time my head's spinning. What is that? So just bear in mind when you're dealing with folks like me that aren't very bright, I need to see all of that stuff.
Okay, everybody good to go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to transition it to Dan. Dan's going to talk about our 2026 projections. Excuse me. So Dan.
And I hope as I go through this, some of the questions or the uneasiness will be answered. Again, I will be narrating much of this. The information is available. We can get it to you. And to clarify on the projection part, my approach has always been to collaborate a projection with staff. And the reason being is when we're looking at prior year versus the year before that, those are hard, real numbers. A projection is very subjective. And I'm not comfortable being the only one with my hands on that projection. So we have a process, and I've developed this, and we've worked with staff to be very transparent on those assumptions. It is very scientific in its approach. The goal is to be as accurate as possible, knowing that it is subjective and there is a degree of error left and right that is going to always be in place. By way of example, we have a perfect context in the world right now. The projections we have up right now were prepared in late February. A lot has changed since late February. Fuel is now $6 or whatever, $7 at the pump now. Those are not in our projection. Those are not in our ask. And allow me to explain why those aren't in our projection. We're actually projecting fuel to be 2% below prior year. When it comes to requesting a price adjustment on customers, we feel as if it needs to be a known permanent adjustment or a probable permanent adjustment. This spike that we're experiencing in fuel is deemed temporary. And if it's temporary, the ratepayers should not pay for those temporary costs. The temporary costs should be absorbed by the company. So we do not have increases in fuel in this projection. I say this with a caveat. I don't know for sure that the situation in Iran is going to resolve itself timely. So if it doesn't, and next year my projection is off because of fuel, just know that's the approach I took was this is temporary and we absorb it. Okay, so on to the projection here. I'm projecting out not just 26, but more importantly, the fiscal year end June 30th, 2026, that being the 12 rolling months immediately preceding when the price increase would begin, therefore establishing what the next 12 months will be, which will be fiscal year end June 30th, 2027. In the assumptions, we do have what we believe is a known change in Deschutes County, or not landfills, disposal rate. I don't think this is necessarily official, but we've been told it's going from 90 to 95. That increase alone represents about 1.7% of our total ask. So when we get to the needed price adjustment, know that disposal is driving 1.7% of it. Another large item is labor. We have implemented a 3% adjustment to it's a cost of living adjustment for our employees effective this year. I'm projecting similar next year, so I did 3% again next year. Benefits, though, is 7%. Medical benefits have just historically always gone up higher. So the blended effect of that is 3 and change. That represents 0.8% of our ask. So disposal and labor represents 2.5% of that total ask that we have. The rest is mostly generated on CPI as published by the United States Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And what we are currently experiencing as of the March publication, March I think was 12th, which would be the February year over year, is currently 3.6%. Now, in my modeling, and which we've reviewed with staff, how I approach this is always to try and assume that the Federal Reserve is going to get inflation eventually back down to a more historical level, which is 2.5%. That's the 25-year average. So we're running a little high right now at 3.6. It's probably going to, we don't even want to look at what it is in March because of fuel, but the projection will slowly assume that the Federal Reserve is going to get inflation under control and will be 2.5% next year. And we're going to have to gravitate towards it as we go this year. So what we've, through that scientific approach, and again, this is me doing my best guessing, and I reviewed this with staff, so I'm projecting a 3.1. We're currently 3.6, so the idea is, hey, a little bit less than what it is today because the idea is it's going to go lower. So that's how we've built this projection. It is obviously subjective and it's fluid. It's changing quickly. Anything that changes post any decision, we just absorb and we get back to next year. The majority of our ask when we get to the ask is really to repair a deficient margin. 2024 was a -1, last year was 5. So this is an ask that is a combination of both inflation that we're experiencing and a repair of a margin that is deficiently low. And at 5%, put that in context, we're negative cash flowing. That's not a sustainable business. The capital expenditures that we have to put forth outpace the earnings from that 5%. So just know that a lot of this ask is repairing a deficient margin. Any questions? And I have provided the information to staff, and I can send you an updated file as well that you can share as well. Full transparency on all this is my goal.
So I'd just say Joe and I met with them last month, and got to see the spreadsheets and everything, and went through all those assumptions. If you could provide the updated sheets and maybe an updated cover letter too. So
So a 1.7% increase in tip fees is what you're anticipating?
That's the impact it will have on rates. The increase 90 to 95 is 5-ish%.
When I'm looking at the options on the next page, and I see disposal pass-through residential customer base, a 3% increase.
Yes, that will be, that's one of the minor changes. The information that we previously got from the county was it was going from 90 to 100.
90 to 100 what?
$90 per ton to $100 per ton. The most recent information now, and we just received this a week and a half ago, is to 95. Now, another change offsetting that is yard debris will increase. We're projecting from 6 to 8.
I'm talking about tip fees right now.
Yep.
Disposal. Again, you're showing a 3% rate impact on tip fees, but I'm not seeing that in what you said. You said a 1.7 and then 90 to 95 rather than 90 to 100. So is that number accurate?
Like I said, the county just gave us new information very recently, which is changing this. So this, like I said, this is fluid. It went from what we thought was 100 down to 95. So now it is a 1.7, not 3.
Anytime I see discrepancy with what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, that's why I'm going to ask you the question. And it's nothing personal. It's just the way Gary operates. Now, in the yard debris costs, I believe that is a requirement of the franchise that you inherited from High Country Disposal. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. I am not going to support any kind of a fee increase on yard debris disposal, especially in our town with the significant amount of pine needles and stuff and fire. The necessity to clear them out as fast as we can fire-wise. So that's a franchise thing, and I'm going to defer to both legal and city management on how that is affected by that particular piece. It's always been provided free through the franchise process, and I'm not comfortable with looking at any kind of a change to that and implementing the fee. Now, I know that in your other options, that shows where we have to pass through, and those are discussions we can have. But I just wanted to be clear that this counselor will not vote for any kind of subscription residential yard debris disposal because we've never charged it. It's always been part of the franchise agreement, and I don't see that changing.
Matt,
Yeah.
so that was actually something that struck me when I was reading through as well. Regardless of where we go from here, I'm personally not in favor of separating that out. I would not want to have our residents choosing to not participate in yard waste disposal. I think that's a dangerous path to go down in our fire, prone area. So that's just, where I was sitting on that particular topic. Thank you for bringing that up.
So can I ask a question? When you talked about disposal and labor, what was the two of them added together? 1.7 and,
Yeah, MSW disposal, 1.7, impact to the rate adjustment, labor, 0.8% impact.
2.5?
2.5 for those two added together.
Okay. And so anytime we're looking at a number such as option 3, a 12% increase that you put up there, if the DLS inflation / COLA is 3.1%, and disposal and labor is up 2.5%, that's 5.6. So you're saying that 6.4 of that 12% increase is the reparations difference? Is that correct?
Margin repair.
Yeah, the margin repair. So on option 3, that's how they get to 12, basically.
Correct.
Is that right?
Generally speaking, yes.
Okay. I mean, I know there's other little slivers in there.
Basic concept, you got perfect, yes.
Okay.
So another, trying to put all this together in my head before making too many comments, but so the option 2 and 3, those increases would include the increase needed to support the current recycling center? Okay. 'Cause my guess, based on our discussions, and then what we see happening in Deschutes County, of course, I can't speak for any other counselors, is that, we'll be looking at shutting that down at some point during this process. And so whatever we come up with, I would like to see it broken out so that it's something that might be temporary. So if we need to do it for 6 months to support the recycling center until we close it down, we could back that out. And because I do feel strongly about that if we're going to increase it for that specific expense, that we would want to have a mechanism to back it out, or to instead increase it smaller amounts at the 2 rate increases, or, however we're going to adjust it. I think we need to see that broken out.
I agree with that. I mean, it'd be nice to see that as its own item. What percentage is that by itself? Whatever that percentage is.
And that might be the first line item, the apply SRC rate increase. Is that what that is?
Yes,
Okay.
this is recycling center.
Okay, thank you. Because those numbers look familiar from our discussion either earlier this year or last fall. So keeping that line item in the other options would be helpful. And I definitely get that counselors want to see further breakdown and get the documents that, maybe updated documents that staff has. And not sure how we get to an answer, but I think one thing that we need to put in our noggins and think about individually is, what do you feel, how do you feel about if all the numbers add up and they make sense and they track with this presentation, how do you feel about the repairing the deficient margin? Because that's kind of part of what we're coming down to here. And so just thinking of it in different terms. And I know you also, I don't know if that's here, was it in this presentation where you compared us to other towns. I'm not saying that we need to be like anybody else, but just,
I don't see the city of Pineville on there, which is another area that you serve, and I know they just came to an agreement with you on the rating.
I have
I'd like to see that
Prineville.
there.
And we, yeah,
2025 results and the pro forma for cost of operations, it does include recycling center?
that's correct.
Okay. And then, so we have the numerical, like $1.30 for residential and the $5 for commercial that the council discussed as different options for keeping the recycling center open. I think maybe like breaking that into a percentage of what that equals for the rate ask.
yeah.
So it's kind of like itemized, here's what recycling center is costing, because if I remember, it's a pretty big subsidy. So a big part of that, reparations of the, margin or whatever could be that gap because of the recycling center is not recovering any revenue for servicing that.
Correct, it's roughly 5% on the residential, roughly.
Just because my brain doesn't always work, what year did you take over High Country Disposal?
2019.
Thank you. I was trying for how many years ago it was, and I looked, 24, 25, you take it over like halfway through 24, I knew it was a while back. Thank you. And the other thing I don't see on here, when you look at residential rates, you're showing the rates for a 65-gallon cart. A lot of people don't have it, they have a smaller one.
Okay, we can definitely change
That
that.
would be helpful just to know for residents. I know a lot of people in my neighborhood that I see that make heavy use of the, both the recycling and the yard debris carts do not have the 65-gallon cart, they have the smaller one. And I realize that for Arbor residents, that's not the case, but I suspect if you look at your numbers, you may have at least half of your carts in this town be the smaller size and maybe more.
We have the data. I can certainly create that same chart for all of it. It's all accumulated for all three sizes, yeah.
Helpful. I want to know if I have to move, hide, live in my 65-gallon cart that I don't have.
Thanks for being here. Question on slide 4, option 1 for residential. It's showing a rate impact of $1.30. Adding that to our existing $28.98 would be $30.28. But we go to slide 5, it shows option 1 residential as $31.19. Okay. So what I have here is different than what's up there.
Same thing.
Okay, so that's the discrepancy. We have a different,
With the latest change on the disposal, we were trying to make all of those changes outside on the fly real quick for you. We missed that one. Our apologies.
It's helpful.
Okay.
The correct one is the 30.28.
Thank you.
Bad math again.
Okay, so I think we've had a lot of questions and asked for some more specific data. I don't feel like we've gotten any closer to giving you a read on what to come back with.
what's our timeline on this?
Good question.
Well, I think we usually try to time it for the July 1 fee updates. We usually bring forward a masterpiece and Attorney's update May, June for that work session, and then adoption in June, kind of coinciding with the budget. So they can come back in a month and we can
Well, and I will say that while I understand that make up for 2024, and the deficiencies in 25, I'm not sure I'm comfortable doing that all in 1 year. 12% increase is something that I do not want to take out to the public. I'm going to be real clear on that. And so think about ways that could be handled, because I'm not comfortable with it. Just want to give you a heads up so I don't surprise you when you come back with something. Appreciate the information. I look forward to the detailed material. But I think when you look at the different options, and even if you say the 12% increase all rates equally, and if you take the other ones and you add them up, they get up into that same range. So be kind of consistent when you tell me what the overall rate relative to Option 1 rate increase would be total percentage. Option 2 rate increase would be total percentage. And also option 2 is very clear. So I'm not trying to determine where that mathematical change occurs.
How do you guys calculate the special pickup you do on our city trash cans 2 days a week or 3 days a week, depending on the time of year? How is that? Is that a separate thing, or
The city cans, that's a free service.
it is?
Charge for it.
Part of the franchise agreement,
Okay.
as is the law.
Yeah, facilities.
Okay. So if we, so that's tied in with the recycle center, or no?
No,
Oh.
it's, cost of the.
I thought that's what you just said, sorry.
No, no, I don't think.
Just part of the franchise agreement.
Reflected in your operations, though, because you're paying
That's
part
correct,
of the cost,
yes.
wages and truck out there.
Okay.
I think what I'm hearing is we probably need something else before the final decision. Is that, can we make that feasible? I know our meetings are tight, but I'm sure we can throw in a half an hour there to have a good decision.
One of the reasons I think it's important to get the Sisters Recycling Center numbers just completely broken out is because all 5 of us are in different places about what to do with that property and when. And the situation is also changing rapidly because of what things the county are doing, and just the whole disposal environment and recycling conversations are changing a lot and quickly. So I definitely want that one broken out, because I think we all have different ideas about not just the money about it, but what to do with it and when to do with it. And I think that if we can keep our rates down by possibly accelerating that conversation, I think we might be interested in doing that. If it's 5%, I kind of look at that and go, bazinga, that's an easy way to make these numbers work a little better, I think, possibly.
And I would add to that, since the county is now picking up, I believe they started with the recycle pickup, haven't they?
No, that
July
goes
1st.
into effect July 1st, so
Yeah.
July 6th
I
technically.
think that until we see the impact of what happens with, we know and we think we're getting quite a bit of recycling from outside of the city. And so once recycling starts to happen countywide, I would hope to see a drop in what's being accumulating at the recycle center, which certainly helps me with that decision. So as we think about this, and I hear what you're saying, Michael, I think we do need to see what that is. And as we think about where we want to be, and maybe we want to look at something earlier than what we originally had said.
Well, I like what you said about 6 months, and kind of breaking that up into 6-month pieces or something like that, because we might not want it for a whole another year.
Well, and then that gives us time too to gauge the impact of what has now been needing to happen for a long time, and that is recycling.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far down this path, but if the recycling center does not have a big impact, then we've got a whole nother,
Different conversation,
a whole
right?
nother conversation of what's there, so.
Yep, I agree. That's our problem.
Okay, Jordan, thoughts on a date, or you'll come back to that?
May 13th, if we'll get you more information, kind of retool those options or fill in those questions on those options. And yeah, I mean, maybe some of those options could be like recycling center subsidy happens until January 1, right? It gives us 6 months to monitor and then kind of, plan for rate increases to accommodate just those 6 months for the recycling center, not beyond that or something. And that could be more of another presentation or workshop, and then we usually bring back the master fees and charges for adoption either in later May or early June. So there's still time to do it. In down and out.
So I think what might make sense is if we could get the documents earlier, so that if counselors, get them in the next 2 weeks, that still gives another 3 weeks if there are outstanding, hey, I'm not seeing this, this is going to help me make my decision, so that we don't have to, and, I'm not putting this on you, I'm just saying, we get our packets on the Friday before, and so if it's in our packet the Friday before, it doesn't give us a lot of time to have the conversation of we don't have what we need. So,
On May 13th, could we leave time in the city council meeting to have a discussion about what we heard from the workshop when they were here? And then we can maybe come up with something, because obviously in a workshop, if we were going to workshop this one more time, we want to talk about it in the meeting, and maybe we can say, okay, now I understand, let's do this, A, B, or C, and maybe we can head nod it.
Yeah, it might just land in the meeting.
Okay, all right.
We have a joint meeting, fire board.
And we'll ask them about impacts of fire, no.
Or curtain burners.
oh dear.
Yeah?
Okay,
I have enough.
good? We good for tonight?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, let me just make sure I know where we are here.
Check, check, check.
All right, so we're going to look at a resolution back to the topic we had in our URA meeting. Yes? Nope, did I miss something?
The consent agenda.
Oh, boy, look at that, sorry.
Can I make a motion? I move to approve the consent agenda?
And the consent agenda only includes minutes from a previous meeting, correct? Yes. Okay, so that, just to clarify?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually would like to add, under council business on March 11th of the minutes, to add for both item A and B, the record of which counselors made the motions and which counselors voted. It's missing on those two.
Yeah. I move to approve the consent agenda to add the item that was just mentioned.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Good catch.
thank you, Councilor Proudlern.
Oh, yeah. I read the minutes.
Okay, all right, now we're going to move on. And we're moving into council goals. I guess I missed a whole page of my notes. Great. So, City Manager Wheeler.
Thank you, Council President. This is actually going to be a brief presentation because we did spend a lot of time on March 11th reviewing the draft goals. So again, it was February 19th, you did your goal-setting retreat across the street at the community center and had a great discussion about new goals and updating goals, and came up with a lot of great actions and initiatives for us to pursue. And so on March 11th, we went through all those draft goals, did some red lines and updates. We had this problem last year. I'm sorry about the typeface or whatever happened with the PDFing, so we'll get that resolved. How it shows up in the packet, kind of hard to read, but there's two versions in there to the resolution, 26-2. There's the clean version under Exhibit A, and then I did include a version that showed those wordsmithing or those revisions that we discussed on March 11th for those draft goals. So just a few things that popped up as we went through them, but the purpose tonight, final chance to make any other modifications before adopting your goals, and the next steps. We're currently working right now on the proposed budget for the 26-27 fiscal year, and staff is all looking forward to getting started on these goals. So great work. I say every year we're getting a little bit better at this, although getting longer and longer. Maybe not as long as last year, but something that, like I said, we're excited to get started on. So with that, we recommend adoption of resolution 2602 if there's no further revisions on your goals.
I have something, but I'd like to go ahead and see. Does anyone have revisions?
No revision.
Just a
No.
comment.
I have a question.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I missed it, but I did not see the STR discussion in there.
Yeah, and I think what we talked about on the 11th is, having potentially doing that in the current fiscal year where that is a goal right now.
Okay,
And gauging the council's interest in pursuing whether we move forward with the
okay, okay.
So I know the schedule's really tight through the end of the year. It's going to be one of those problems that we're kind of running into right now. One idea I think we talked about is it can we give you maybe a research paper or something? How do we pursue that? So you have that in hand, and maybe that helps with setting the agenda. So
Okay.
Easy to add back if the council wants to on that. I think there was kind of a sentiment that maybe it was premature to whether, let's see when we can do this fiscal year before we actually set a goal.
I do recall that now, thank you.
From a historical perspective, it's often years that we have one or two things that slide through from one year to the next without adding them back to the goals. So I'm okay with not amending with that particular item.
I'm also okay, given the reminder, thank you.
And I just want to say that the goals as presented looks like perhaps you tried to type them on a manual typewriter with sticky keys.
Blame Adobe. I don't know what's going on with our packet software, but.
And my question that I had is, because you kind of have the two copies, do we have to amend the motion at all because of that, or? Okay. That was my question.
I was assuming we're approving the one that does not say draft.
Good.
But I got tricked up there. I was like, what? There's more? Yeah, okay.
It's not the typeface.
Okay.
Okay,
The resolution says Exhibit A.
fantastic. Okay, I would like to entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2026-02.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, now I'm caught up to the meeting, and we have Director Joe coming back to,
Part B.
You were just clamoring for the second
oh,
item.
I was so excited. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
All right, thank you. This staff report I will share with you was covered very thoroughly in the prior Urban Renewal Agency, URA meeting. So let me make sure I get the right one. Okay. Yeah, so this is the other side of the coin as was discussed earlier. As mentioned prior, the URA is looking at $4.15 million of long-term debt financing for projects set forth in the plan. And this debt financing will help us achieve that goal. So the reason why the city is involved in that is to Jordan's point, banks are a lot more comfortable with the liquidity and the financial strength of a city in a larger jurisdiction. So they're basically backing this. The city is backing the borrowing of the URA, and so that's why they have to go into this agreement with the city and the URA. So, and that's kind of the, I guess, the Reader's Digest version. But if you have any follow-up questions or you have any thoughts that were kind of meandering around your minds and from the URA meeting to now, I'm happy to answer those.
Can you please remind us how much is going to Adams Streetscape and what the remainder is?
Yeah, good question. So Adams Streetscape, the contract is about $3.6 million. The URA will be contributing about 3.3 of that, and then the parking district fund will contribute another about $3.5 or $350,000 of that.
So we are borrowing 4.1?
4.15. So then you have workforce housing, and then you have some of the other projects that are remaining.
Of course.
In the plan.
The project.
Some of them are not very specific, right?
Yeah.
And you also have a little bit of fund balance that exists in these funds. So not only would you get, the $4.15 million going into the project fund, which funds all these projects, you also have an existing balance there that you can use. So that's taken into consideration. So all in told, it'll be over $6 million of total projects that the agency will be able to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good to say that in the current fiscal year budget for the Urban Renewal Agency, we did reflect the $4.1 million in financing.
Yep.
Still working on what that would look like. And landscaping and art acquisition in there, the 400,000 for the workforce housing
Yep.
grant that we've committed to Habitat, and then a project that's well underway and almost near completion is the West Side Pump Station, which had an urban contribution to it.
Excellent.
Any questions or commentary? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 2026-03.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, so the next up is the Northwest Park Master Plan, and I believe Scott is going to be online. Is that what we're thinking? Plus our consultants?
Yeah, that's correct. Both of us are online here. good.
You're a little bit hard to hear.
Oh, interesting. I've had a little trouble hearing some of you guys tonight. How about now? Are you hearing me?
Could be doable if is it you tonight, or is the consultant doing a presentation? How are we doing this?
Well, I think the idea was that we would just give a short little summary and not really do a full presentation unless requested, since we've talked about this a lot. John Champlin's on the line here from NV5, available if you guys have questions or want to hear more from him on the preferred alternative.
Okay, and so just to give go back and say what are we doing tonight? In general, like we're making a decision to end this phase and say that yes, this documentation is what we believe we have talked about, and it represents this kind of introductory phase. Is that what we're saying? And then so we're not agreeing to spend any money tonight. We are just ending a phase, knowing that the next phase will come in, and this document will be the input to the next phase.
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to kind of make that clear for anybody listening.
Good summary.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start with questions, since this is something we've had, and it sounds like we're not going to have a presentation tonight. All the document was included in our packet. And so if we have questions or discussion around what's in the document, which I guess the document is what we're approving, that's time for it now.
Let me just say, as the representative to the Parks Committee, Parks Board, and I want to thank our consultants for listening to what was said in terms of when we look at the document as presented. I mean, it shows the history, which is what we expect to see. That's what you do in a conceptual plan. You show all the different things we went through. But if you look at page 2 and 3 of the summary, you really kind of see fleshed out what our final ask was of the consultant agency to put together, with a berm, with the potential court. Some of them are optional. And I appreciate very much that on page 2, the executive summary of costs represents all of those elements along with those that are listed as optional. So we have the ability, if we decide to move forward with something in here, to have some sense of cost. So this represents a lot of hard work on your part and on the part of the Parks Committee and of staff. So I'm very pleased to see this. I've seen more than one of these in my life. This is probably my 5th one. And this was done very well, so thank you very much.
I think the executive summary, page 2 with the costs on it, even though we're not spending any money tonight, we're going in a direction where we know how much is going to be spent. So money was definitely a driver in a lot of our conversations. And just so people know, we're not approving a master plan that has any kind of ice skating rink or pavilion or anything like that. We're going forward with a more normal, regular kind of park, and the cost difference is $7 million. It's significant. So even though we're not spending any money tonight and we're not approving any expenditures, we're moving forward with the thought of those expenses in mind. And the great thing is there's still room out there for something else later if we wanted to, as a city, as a community. I think we decided as a group in general to forego the big idea for the smaller idea, and let's get the park in and see how it goes, and maybe something can happen later or in other parks across the city. I think that's the best way to put it. So thanks for your hard work on that. I really think executive summaries are great things because they kind of boils down the information for us to make a fairly easy decision. So thank you.
Councilor Pellerin?
I had the same comments in regards to moving that summary to the front. I think before it was towards the back, so we can just have the history towards the back. And it was much easier read. Thank you.
Great. All right, I'm glad we didn't do the whole presentation again. Sounds like we have a pretty good handle on this. And yeah, a lot of appreciation for the hard work. And I guess, I'm a math person, so you show the work that was done along the way to get there for anyone who wants to see how that happened. And look forward to what's next. So I guess at this point, we're looking to approve the report and put that to bed and until we move to the next phase. So I would be looking for a motion.
I move to approve the 2026 Northwest Park Master Plan Report as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
We put that topic on that.
Oh, no. Always got to throw a dad joke in there. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was Gary's turn.
What happens this time of night?
All right, well, thank you guys for being here and sitting through this whole meeting, waiting for this moment of glory. Yeah, but it's, I'm glad we don't have a lot to talk about tonight. That's good. That's good news.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much. It was an honor.
Great, thank you. All right, so we've got next up the Camp Polk multi-use path, which I'm guessing Jackson's on it.
Yes, I will be filling in for Paul this evening. Requesting from council by motion to award a public improvement contract with Wright Excavation for the construction of the Camp Polk multi-use path project. This project is in our 2021 transportation system plan, and it will continue an existing multi-use path adjacent to the Cascade Distillery on the corner of Camp Polk and Sun Ranch, and extending that south to Barclay Drive, where pedestrian facilities were constructed as part of that Phase 1 project. Will be our standard 8-foot wide multi-use path, asphalt. Will involve the removal of that existing fence, which is in the project area and in the right-of-way. Relocation of some utility structures, so CEC power pole and some telecom pedestals, as well as 8 trees, which were recommended by the Urban Forestry Board for removal. We had originally budgeted $80,000 for this project. However, once we got through design, we estimated that to be closer to 60. Of the 11 bids we received, low bid was $47,828.50. There was a small clerical error between the unit price and the total bid price on a line item. Legal advised that we honored the unit price for that. So that did result in an extra $300, but even after that, they were still the low bid. We're anticipating this project begin this month in April with a completion date of June 30th.
Nice.
With that, are there any questions?
That fence removal, can you confirm which fence you're referring to?
That is the large white fence running north-south on the west side of Camp Polk Road.
Some of it's fallen down anyway, so.
In some disrepair.
Yeah.
Wasn't it in the right-of-way, I believe?
It's entirely in the right-of-way, yes.
Okay.
So it's our fence.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it is now. Are there any other questions about this? Was there anything specific that caused the lower price tag? Was it, or is it just that unsure before the design phase? Kind of.
So when engineers put these budget estimates together, they're looking at other bid prices that are coming in. You might recall some projects we've had in the past were coming in over estimate. So it's really them just looking at what other projects are going for and making their best guess.
Great.
I was pleased to see a large number of respondents. And the interesting thing was that the price range from the 47 or 46, whatever it was for Wright Construction, all the way up to 74,000. So there was a wide expanse of costs in there. And so I was very happy to see the responsive bids. And there were at least, I think, 3 bids that were very responsive based upon the numbers.
Most bids I've ever seen for a project.
That's great. Good for us. Okay, if there's no more discussion, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I move to award a public improvement contract to Wright Excavation in the amount of $47,828.50 for the Camp Polk multi-use path project and authorize the city manager to execute the contract on behalf of the city and any necessary change orders and/or amendments within a contingency amount of 5% of the contract.
I'll second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackson.
Appreciate that. All right, we are moving into other business. And do you have any response to prior comments?
There was a couple public comments at the last meeting a month ago. So it's been great. Comments about Locust Street and the construction traffic.
Yep.
And there was some discussion about that. Those projects that we're using our Public Works facility for staging and storage are really winding down, if not done now. There was a few piles of things left over the last month, but that's mostly taken down, and I think our goal is not to be using that as a staging site going forward, and we don't anticipate any other projects that would be in the future. So, and then a couple ideas that we've been exploring, kind of reduce maybe the noise and disruption there is, there's the intersection with the pathway for the Peterson Ridge Trail, and one idea is to either relocate that trail to where the gate is at the Public Works facility, so that cars only stopping once. The other option is like a lot of, every crosswalk and every trail is you put up stop signs for pedestrians. So maybe some behavioral change there, but there's probably more volume of vehicles during the day, honestly, just Public Works going back and forth than there is pedestrians. That may change someday in the future if there's another trailhead, say way down at our viewpointer, at the Lazy Sea, but even then, volume's pretty minimal. But we'll look at those 2 ideas, and if we need to work with STA, the Forest Service.
Well, and I would say that, the tractors or whatever you want to call it, the semis they were using to pull the loads were chrome straight pipes right out. There's no muffle on those. They were very loud when they came and went, as compared to other similar traffic I see going up and down that street, whether it's a big crane like there was today, or other types where they're muffled. The noise is significantly less, and it may mean that if we decide we want to use that facility for staging in the future, we may need to make some requirements upon the vendor as to what type of vehicles they can use to transport materials to and from the site to keep the noise down. Because that frankly was the problem. The trucks were extremely loud, and they didn't need to be. It's just what construction trucks, they don't worry about that.
Yeah, something to keep in mind too, if we ever do need to make improvements to the facility or treatment plant, be mindful of the type of construction vehicles and when that activity occurs. The other comment was regarding collection of wildlife, dead wildlife. They're digging into the history there, and happy to take council direction on this. It's been kind of just a practice that when people do call, I think in the past, depending on who's on that day, we might dispatch and go take care of it. I think more of the rule of thumb be up to you guys. It's minimal. It's maybe once a year, if that, that we get a call that, you know, there might be wildlife. I think a lot of people just either take care of it, bury it, move it to the forest, that sort of thing.
I personally don't have any issue with staff taking care of it if that's makes them comfortable. If there's an uncomfortable situation where there's a backyard that, I don't know what it would be, that's not my call, but where they're not comfortable going in, then I think that there's room to, you know, have an internal discussion on that, because I don't want staff putting themselves in danger. And again, I don't know what that situation is that I'm talking about, but yeah, there's always room for personal decision-making there.
I'm certainly in favor of letting staff decide, whether that's you or people in the department, you know. I'm either way.
I think that some discretion needs to be there. I think if we kind of make a hard rule, well, it has to be in the right of way. What if it's 5 feet, half in the right of way, half? And I don't want to get into what you said. I think that, you know, if we can remove it, and somebody goes by and takes a look and said, yeah, we can do that, I'm okay with it. You may have to say, well, if you can get it out further, you can't go into your backyard, you know. So I think that discretion is what we need to use, so we don't put anybody in a difficult spot.
I mean, I appreciate the citizen bringing it forward.
Yeah.
It's a discussion I had never had before, and
And as a person who had the city come in and remove,
it was new for everybody.
and before I was on city council, the guys came in and removed a dead deer from my yard. I said, how do I get rid of this thing? Don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. And they did. So it's a nice service, I appreciated it. So I guess I'm probably a little more sympathetic to that cause, it sounded like me.
No, I absolutely get it, but I understand where the caution came from as
I
well,
do.
and I appreciate that, so.
Totally.
All right, good. Got you.
Staff updates, ready?
Sure.
All right, everyone's pens out? Yeah, ready, go.
Okay, so your next city council meeting is a special meeting, and so that's next week on Wednesday at 1 p.m. That's going to be regarding the annexation policies. And I believe we'll have a draft annexation code. Very rough, very preliminary, but something for you guys to review and react to. A couple other updates here from administration. We did post an RFP for our legal services. We've had that contract with BLJ since, I think, 2016. So it was time, we had talked with them about this, that we're, you know, multiple extensions, it's time to refresh it, probably get a new contract. So I know they plan on submitting, but we'll advertise it and cast the net on that. Civic Leadership Academy starts on Monday, so this is our third cohort. I think you all are signed up for a different Monday here and there to greet and participate a little bit with the CLA. Carrie and I have been meeting with Scott Aycock with the Governor's Office about a regional solutions community meeting, kind of a community solutions meeting about different projects and you know, programs and you know, challenges that are facing sisters. There'll be different agencies involved. There'll be council, community. So that's something that we're still kind of working out the agenda for, kind of the logistics, but it will be sometime, I think, in mid to late June. We're looking at dates for. So as we sort of pin that down, we'll get that on your calendars. We've had some interviews this week for a utility technician position. This has been a vacant position for several years here. It's been one of those kind of tough positions to fill, but we've had some great interviews. I think there's going to be some second interviews coming up soon, so fingers crossed that we find somebody to kind of fill out the ranks there on the crew. Also, the campground is officially open, right? Started in April. We have a few campers already. Probably good weather is helping out, you know, Easter weekend, things like that. So we're probably expecting April to actually be pretty busy. So good for business in town. And then an event coming up, Republic Services, we talked about, we talked with them tonight, but the community cleanup is April 20th through the 24th, and I've already seen some pretty big piles out there already, so people are ready to get rid of some of this fire fuel in the season.
Isn't there hazardous material pickup in conjunction with that?
The hazardous?
There's a,
I think it's like appliances or maybe some.
there's also an event.
This Saturday,
sponsored-
this Saturday.
okay.
At the
yeah.
recycle center,
Yeah,
yep.
Thank you. I knew it was.
Sure,
this
I just
week.
saw that, yep.
Yeah. Hazardous material cleanup in the morning. I think it goes from, I don't.
There's a lot of cleanup things
Yeah.
happening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's the Solve community cleanup.
And this is because people don't want, you otherwise you have to drive them out to landfill to dispose of things like lithium-ion batteries and
Paint.
too, so they'll take those.
Yeah, and so then there's also the Solve community cleanup happening.
A week from Saturday.
A week from Saturday.
Yeah. Not enough Saturdays, please.
Another event that's happening tonight is the Welfare Preparedness Fair. And Matt Martin's there tonight representing the city. They're sharing information about the habitable space regulations. But that was unfortunately a conflict tonight with the council meeting, but we are being represented there. And then Matt and Fire Marshal Jeff Fuller will be going to the spring LSC conference to talk about city of sisters and our welfare mitigation efforts and habitable space code and R327. It's kind of the talk of the state right now with welfare preparedness. Okay, pivoting to some public works things, the road safety audit, there was some field work that happened over spring break. So we had some traffic engineering consultants, community members, business owners, councilor participate in doing sort of observations and then brainstorming solutions. So they're working on that report, a project list that will then be reviewed with the stakeholder committee and then prioritized before bringing it to the Public Works Advisory Board and then the City Council. So we're going to schedule those sometime probably here in May, June. So, but it's something that we're trying to, we asked the consultant to move fast on. I mean, it was a crash course. They came in 3 days, studied it, came up with recommendations, brought together a stakeholder committee. So we appreciated that. We're also working on our transportation SPC update. That's on the schedule for Public Works Advisory Board. I think their next meeting. So, a consultant was pretty quick about updating the project list and how that affects our assisted development charges for transportation. So that update will be brought to PWAB and then brought to City Council for your consideration. Adams Avenue, we got the financing now locked in place, and that's a pretty big contract that is going to start officially on April 13th. So we're excited about that breaking ground. We've also saw out front here in particular, so far, a lot of traffic safety cones. Oregon Department of Transportation's contractors who are working on the 88.
It's only going to get better.
Oh, is that what that is at the corner here? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll get tired of them.
No, no. that's
They're,
all right.
they're going to move,
That's all
though,
right. They're
really
gonna move.
slowly down
Yep.
the,
Hopefully
That's
they'll
right.
start here and just go
be
west.
a little more on task than they were in both Redmond and Newport.
Hope is yes, because this is the last community that they're doing.
They still do part of Redmond, but
Yeah, they're finished up.
When they get down to the other end, then they're going to cross the street and come back this way. I think, right?
Yeah.
It's going to go
It
all
goes in
summer.
phases. I mean, they'd be doing the curb cutting, saw cutting.
they've removed everything on the corner there, so.
Well, my assumption is that we have no control over it, and therefore, we just communicate unless there's a real problem. I mean, if there's some real problem, we'll deal with it then.
That's pretty much it.
All right, so some more little construction activity. Small but mighty is our Village Green Park picnic shelter is being upgraded. So actually today they're got about halfway done, I think, with putting that new roof on. So probably by the end of the week that'll be done. Fire hardened picnic shelter in Village Green. Nice metal roof there. And then Buck Run Park, the bench was replaced. It kind of deteriorated, had rotted out. So it's been replaced. We got the new boards. I think they're staining it today. So yeah, we're happy to see that little bench back. And then I think happening this week is the Welcome Sisters in the little garden here. I don't know what we call that property, but it's kind of the Welcome Garden. so the old one kind of rotted out, right? The boards that held the sign. So the original sign was refurbished by a volunteer group, and so I think it was David Hiller with the Kiwanis Club, Chris Calvin, Sisters Area Woodworkers were involved, Bethany Gunderson, and I think a bunch of art students at the high school too.
Wow, super cool.
Yeah, so a lot of volunteer work to kind of refurbish and refresh that sign, and new posts are getting in, and we'll have that new welcome sign there. And let's see, okay, community development, UGB update. So application is in. I know staff has been interacting with the county staff on our application, kind of going back and forth on some questions, and then we have been noticing that's going to be happening pretty soon on the upcoming public hearings. So those will be hitting mailboxes, and that is probably going to be mid to late May when the first hearing will be with the planning commission. I think that probably the 21st of May is the next planning commission. So that will be kicking off that formal process once the notices go out on the application. We're also, I mentioned the special meeting coming up next week. There'll be that very draft version of the annexation code for you guys to react to. And on area planning, that's being worked on the schedule on that behind the scenes. I know Scott's been working with the consultants on how all the timing of these different applications and efforts align with the UGB annexation and then area planning. So looking at probably starting the more public process, the public involvement process on the area planning after the local adoption of the UGB this summer. So we have the actual area identified that's been adopted, and then we're doing the kind of the work behind the scenes, and then we'll do the public process, whether that's a steering committee, we talked about maybe public open houses or charrettes or something like that as part of the area planning. And I think Scott shared a new kind of quarterly report that we're putting together. I think we kind of previewed that with you before about building activity in town. So we found that helpful, a lot of detail in there, what's kind of been permitted, what's being under construction. There's still, working with the occasional application coming in on partitions, lot line adjustments. There's some temporary use permits that we always have every year. So our new associate planner, Sarah Val, is taking on a lot of those type of applications. And there is still pre-application conferences. I think we've had 2 this month on potential developments. And so there's still, I think, interest in some of those vacant parcels in town on different ideas, both commercially and residential. So that's always good to see that there's still interest to pay. By high land values and construction costs and all the rest going on right now. I already mentioned some of the wildfire activities happening, and coming up at the LLC conference and tonight's Wildfire Preparedness Fair. Earlier this week, just yesterday, was the Wildfire Mitigation Group, which was another, pretty open agenda, but great updates for the group to kind of share. Unfortunately, I think tomorrow is, I think we were invited to a wildfire kind of preparation review meeting with Sisters Fire and some of the other partners, but it conflicts with a lot of other things going on.
Yeah, they invited us to the opening couple hours. Yeah.
Any questions?
Just a question, is there a list of people who will be attending CLA this year? Is that public knowledge yet?
The roster?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that public?
Yeah, like we were just talking about Carrie and no, I'm just kidding. No, I was just asking if there's a CLA roster that is public knowledge yet.
We don't necessarily put it out to the public. We have never done that. I can send it to you.
Yeah, just or I'll just look in the window on Monday. It's fine.
Is any counselors coming on Monday or is it?
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Jordan? Okay, all right. Do we have any mayor, councilor business?
I have I guess a couple things. I was contacted by a citizen, not the first time, but this is a different person, but very nice a note asking, when will the roundabout stop looking like a kindergarten classroom and start looking like a roundabout, maybe with some art in it. And I informed her that we were going to be we are in the process of putting together a citizen advisory group on art, like we have for parks and public works and others. And I can't quite, I was a little confused as to when that's going to happen. Can you enlighten us, Jordan, as to where we are in that process?
Yeah. So April 22nd workshop, which will start early, by the way, I think at 4:30. Heads up on that. Will include a discussion about the Public Art Advisory Board. So, you know, the goal is we're establishing the Public Art Advisory Board. This is the first workshop. Make sure everything is good, looks good in terms of the makeup, the amount of members, the scope, and then bring that back as a resolution next meeting. Your first meeting in May. So then we're off and running, right? Then it's a matter of recruitment and establishing the board. As far as the roundabout and the decorations and such, we're still in that, in between phase of ODOT owning, kind of the project and transferring that over to the city once we finish the landscaping, which the plants are doing their darndest to grow in the greenhouses over there right now, and they'll be delivered in May. And then we do some plantings, probably put some more rock in there. Finish up the rock mulch as well. So the landscaping will be done probably by May, and then we really will take on the ongoing responsibilities. Our goal is to put stuff once that happens. ODOT really is, we notify ODOT when things get placed in their right of way. On our right of way, we collect things, but in this situation, ODOT really is still responsible, but that responsibility is then to take on once the landscaping process completes. Kind of the heads up, and I think there's been articles about that.
Yeah, and thank you. And that typically, like, once that committee is put together and we're ready to form it, that'll go in the nugget like we do other sorts of.
Oh yeah, that'll be widely advertised.
Just a personal note on that meeting we have next week on Wednesday. I do have a doctor appointment at 11:45 in Redmond, so it's going to be brief. It's sort of an emergency one, and I don't think it'll be very long, but I might be a little late getting back to the 1 o'clock meeting. But it was the only time I had available.
We'll allow it.
Of course.
We'll annex you.
And then the last thing is we'll probably have some discussion on it again, but I want to let Jill know, we are looking at the whole STR process. And, we all have a chance to read it and see it, and staff can give us advice on it. We'll have more discussion, so we're not done with it. But, I want to thank you for coming and for bending my ear back in February on this very topic where we were at another.
The one thing I would say about it is we're a little bit like a battleship, so sometimes we don't turn as fast as people would like. So just wanted to give you a cautionary tale about how fast we do as a policy body. Sometimes it's a little slower than people expect. So that's the other thing I would just warn you about. It might take a bit, so a bit of time.
But we heard you.
Yeah. And we can keep pinging us, and then that means that, we put out fires as they come, right? So if you're pinging us a little more than other people, that's a fire we're going to want to put out, right?
Yeah, and it is something that's one of our goals for this year to.
It's in our
have
goals to
discussion.
talk about
Yeah.
it, yeah. Yeah. But thank you.
Okay, Gary, you're all set?
I am all set. Thank you for putting up with it.
No problem. Okay, next. Y'all want to arm wrestle?
Oh, go ahead. So I attended the monthly COIC board meeting, and COIC has been granted to be a host of the Weaver Awards, and I apologize if I'm repeating this. I don't think I told you last month. The Weaver Awards is a grant program for local groups that bring community together, and the grants can be anywhere from 2,500 up to 5,000. So they will start being the administrator of that grant program late summer, early fall. So I've already kind of given a heads up to some of our groups in our city that are really good at trying to bring community together, and we all probably know who those are. So giving them the heads up on that. I attended communications training yesterday. This is through LOC. Lou Desmond it was the teacher, and boy, this guy's very entertaining. So if anybody gets an opportunity to take any of his courses, Lou Desmond, and I'll be attending a second one tomorrow on media training. Yesterday was becoming a powerful speaker. He has some materials that I will forward to all of you. Pretty easy read, but some great little techniques for us, as we know we speak in front of people quite often. Attended the Trinity Place groundbreaking, as we all did, which was wonderful. Yeah, yep, our new 40 apartments that are going to be for workforce housing. So really looking forward to seeing that happening and starting. Councilor McDougall and I guess we'll just kind of partner on this update for the Bridge Meadows housing tour in Redmond. I left you the materials in your inbox. If you could pass them on to Michael, that'd be great, or Jennifer. But the Bridge Meadows Housing is a nonprofit that puts a village, if you will, together, which leverages community to help foster families. And what they do is it's multi-generational. So they have an area of their village that is for people aging in place, seniors, and then they have an area of their village for foster families. And they found that having that mix of multi-generation has been a huge success. It was a beautiful facility. They had a community room, the community garden, just really impressive to see that. And so take a look at that. There's hope someday maybe we can have one right here in Sisters. Also, along with Councilor Ross, we've been working on the city council rules that we're updating. We have some homework to do. Thank you, Carrie, for more to read. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, I only have 5 items. One, I'd like to get a head nod permission from you guys to go to the LOC Spring Conference. Carrie sent out the email, and there's a reason. Am I allowed to talk? Okay, that's what I thought. Maybe next meeting, the night before? No?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, well.
Yep. We all have the.
Okay, so I'd like to, I offered myself to go, and I have availability to do so. And to be honest with you, it would be a break from my work, because as you know, I've been working pretty hard. So if that's okay, I'd like to go do that.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. I'll represent Sisters as good as I can.
I thought about going, but then I realized I'd be driving at night, and I'm starting to have night vision issues.
So thank you for that. I'll talk about our local EDCO board, Sisters Country Economic Development. We have a couple of new board members. I'm not sure from Eric if I'm allowed to talk about them yet, because they haven't attended a meeting, but we have them identified and I think agreed to be part of the board. So maybe we'll give you a whole board update at the next meeting or a future meeting, and just a reminder of everybody on the board, so you can, if you see them in the public, you can thank them or ask them questions about.
That'd be great, actually.
Say who's the board right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done an update on who's on the board yet this year, because it's been in flux since January. So Regional EDCO, I'm still the chair of the Revenue Task Force to come up with new revenue sources for the regional economic development of Central Oregon. We're almost done with that. We have 6 recommendations of new revenue sources or improved revenue sources. We're going to give those or present those. I'm going to present those to either the executive board before the next regional meeting or the next regional meeting, which is in late April, I believe, or in early May, sorry. That's been fun, but also it's an hour every other week that I'm doing with that, but at least it's been all online, so that was good. I went to a Planning Commission meeting as the liaison last week. It was the first meeting we had in a while. It was a workshop at 4 o'clock last Thursday. They were working on code items, so I took a couple of questions and said, hey, if you need us more, let me know. Just offered myself up for some collaboration, and then they started into this code stuff, and I went, I'm going to see this down the road, so I'll see you all later. I'm going home. So that was nice, but it was good to see him.
So you left for the fun part.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna see. They're gonna recommend it to us, so I want to do it once, not twice. And lastly, Explore Sisters last month was off for spring break, and our next meeting is the 23rd, Thursday, I think. And if I go to LOC, I won't make that one and give them my best. So thank you.
Great.
That's it.
Let's see. We talked about Trinity Place groundbreaking. They did so this is, as Councilor Pellerin mentioned, this is the 40 apartments for workforce and affordable housing that are being built, and I don't think I've been to such a meaningful and fun event in a long time. So really kudos to them for putting together something interesting and fun.
Did somebody place in the excavator Olympics?
I think that was the mayor, yes. I'm sure we'll be hearing about that again sometime. The Bridge Meadows tour, as Councilor Pellerin mentioned, it was amazing. And one other note to add is that the seniors that are living there are living in affordable apartments. So it's a combination of affordable housing for seniors, and then the people who are it's kind of interesting because it's for foster families, but it's trying to keep the kids out of the foster system. So it's often like a grandmother or maybe another family member who is taking on children that they couldn't do if they didn't have an affordable place to live. It was quite amazing. I'm glad to see it. There is some interest in this model from our community. There were other community members there kind of observing as well. So it's probably not the last we're going to talk about this. I wanted to bring back up the Jeremy Austin. I don't know if he's still on, but I did want to just reiterate what he had said is that, we gave them a letter of support a year ago it sounds like for a federal grant, and then this is another grant that they're working on, and so they're just looking for another letter of support. But
Can I make a comment?
Of course you can.
If we gave them a letter of support before, I can't imagine anything so bad happening that we wouldn't do it again. I think we would look kind of dumb if we didn't, right?
Well, I can appreciate.
Has anything changed that we know of?
I do not know of anything that has changed.
Right.
I believe that the mayor had some questions, and Jordan, they went back and forth just to get some clarifications. But I don't believe anything is different than a year ago when we talked about it.
It's the same project.
Same project.
So
Yep.
we're giving a letter of approval for this project. Okay, I mean, is it a template specific to the award, the grant?
Just a different grant source to
Yeah.
build the pool.
So, I mean, can we just discuss now that unless something bad happens, we just give them letters of support? Is that a?
Absolutely. You can
Okay,
move
so.
that direction. We'll take that. And I just said the questions I think were similar to last time. It was more about the project itself and if there was opportunities for considering other, maybe pedestrian or bicycle infrastructure as they look at these crossings and where they're going, because that's a corridor that has the potential for roundabouts in the future and things, right? Camp Sherman, that intersection, Sartorius and Blackview and stuff. So I think that was the only questions, and I think those were similar to last time. And I think there's technical reasons why they're going for funding for the wildlife crossings for this project versus some of those other things that are funded.
It's been my experience with wildlife crossings across the nation and up in Canada where I see a number of them, that they typically are single use, i.e. wildlife crossings, so.
Wildlife might not use a crossing if we put a bike path down the middle of it
I
or
think-
whatever.
Unless they're on roller skates, in which case they love it.
I don't think that, I think that there was understanding they're not supposed to be shared use, but it was understanding that corridor may have other users and stuff, right, that, someday down the line, right? And
Sure.
Is there anything that could be done at this planning phase to take that into consideration?
I mean,
get how those are separate.
my biggest worry is I've seen the one in California that they spent $41 million on and it's not done. I have faith that this project is not going to fall into that category only because we know the people already. I mean, we've already been introduced to them, so there you go.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I
that's a-
definitely get the eyebrow raise about bringing it up again, but of course, staff needs a direction from us, and I think we've just given direction for the whole project.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Great, all right, that's all I have.
So we're not hypocrites. That's good.
Yeah, all right, I'm giving one last look. Anything else before I close the meeting? All right, going to adjourn this meeting.
Thanks for the LOC thing. I'm excited about that. I love Pendleton.
No, it's great.